Hey guys, happy Valentine's Day. So this week for me is more of a transitional week, and I am now with the kindergarten group of children. So I'm dropping down in age range, and I'm with part-time preschoolers. So these kids are basically in the room that's transitioning them into kindergarten and preparing them to go to that next level. Um, but most of the children in this room, though, however, have behavioral and social needs. Some of them have a little bit of developmental needs, but not on a severe level. One of the children has like a speech delay, and then, like I said, most of them are behavioral or social issues. The school that's next to us, the elementary school, provides special assistance. And so there's the assigned children, or the diagnosed children, I should say, um, go over there probably to 1 to 2 hours, depending on the child, a day, and get services provided to them. So they'll go to speech therapy, or they'll have a social worker doing social-ish skills and behavioral skills for the children. The undiagnosed, unfortunately, do not go over there, so they stay in our care, and then we'll do special projects and try to implement kind of the same things, just from our side with those children. Um, the children that do not necessarily have the services are usually the ones that the parents are not necessarily willing to accept that they could be diagnosed with some sort of behavioral or social issue, which obviously there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes the parents are not willing to accept it. Therefore, we can't work with the kids the same way, and we can't provide the services that they may need. And it's one of those things where if we're allowed to diagnose your child, not we, but if we're allowed to start the process so that your child can be diagnosed, and they come back with no diagnosed issues or whatsoever, then that's fine. However, if they do have a specific issue that we can address, we can start providing them the services so that they can progress, because a lot of the parents don't realize that these children get tested on specific skills so that we know that they're ready to move on to the next level, such as going to kindergarten. And if they're not, mentally or socially ready to do that, we can't, unfortunately, push them forward. And then that's when the parents start to get concerned, or, or upset that their child is not moving forward. But we're here as that middleman to suggest, like, hey, maybe we should look a little bit deeper into your child, especially into your child's future. But sometimes that's not the case. And with some of those children as well, we have a lot of safety concerns for them, because a lot of them may not necessarily know, like for behavioral, may not realize that, kicking your friend is not nice, which is not kicking because you're mad, but kicking because something's going on and we don't know, and so your form of communicating with us is kicking or throwing things everywhere, and it puts other children in danger. We have a young boy that gets fixated on specific objects, especially if they're out of place, which is fine. However, when we're going outside of the building and we're walking with 15 other kids and 2 staff members, it's very difficult if the child wants to be fixated on something and then goes towards it. And so then that child is now leaving the line, leaving a safe environment, and we don't know if he's going to run off into the road or where he's going, because he's so fixated on this one object, and he has to either touch it or put it back where it belongs, or whatever the case may be, before he can get back and refocus. And so those are just some of the concerns that we're dealing with, that parents aren't necessarily willing to address, and that a comment that was told to me while I was getting a lot of the information this week was that, some of the parents are thinking that, it's just a little behavior that he's going through and that he'll phase out of it. And while we're like, well, that's fine. However, why don't we do these things for precautionary reasons, so that way, in case he does not grow out of it, we're able to help him move forward in how to address these issues and for parents on different tips and tricks to lower or have more control of the specific behavior or issues that we're seeing, especially in the center. So that's just what I'll be working on this week. My question to you guys is like, what are some ways that we can present this type of information to parents? Because I'm sure they don't necessarily want to hear it, but at the same time, it's the hard truth and it has to be addressed. So whatever your suggestions are, I'm willing to listen. Thanks, guys.